Hi guys, Yacca here. So I have another video guide for you guys about the arena, and this is probably the most important concept that you need to understand in order to really excel in the arena. So you could argue, why isn't that something that I brought up very first in the guides? Well, some of the other things that I had are maybe a little bit more basic concepts. The draft is important because that's the first thing you even encounter in the arena. Just getting an understanding of what you actually want to do. Picking the important cards, like the strongest cards first, and then figure out where can your deck go. Is it a more control-like, a little bit more of a heavy deck? Or is it something that needs to go really light, aggressive, or kind of a curve deck, where you can say, well, you can match the early game, but you can also carry your deck over to the late game and challenge other decks in the late game environment. So that was some of the basic things there. We've talked about board control, making sure that you have the board, and that's also a really key basic concept. And then the value concept is also something where you see how much can I actually get out of the individual cards. Now we're actually getting to some stuff where you will actually win or lose some games if you either understand or do not understand the concept around tempo, as actually opposed to value. Tempo and value sometimes are actually at odds with each other. I don't want to spell out any one specific YouTube personality, but I actually watched a constructed player, which carried over some of his mindset from constructed to arena. And I actually saw that individual hold on to a 2-drop because there were potential value in that card, instead of playing that on turn 2. The consequence behind him actually holding on to that card, it was an acidic swamp ooze, which could get rid of an opponent's weapon. And the class that the opponent played was also a weapon class, so he could have some weapons in there. This deck is also a weapon class, and if you browse through the list that I have, there's no weapons in there. That specific choice that he did on turn 2 actually ended up costing him the game in the long run. The last minion he put on the board was that 2-drop, and it posed no value for him at that point in time. There were no weapon at that point in time that he needed to remove. So he actually did not have that minion tempoed out. That's kind of a concept in itself. He didn't prioritize the tempo in the match just to put that on the board in order to actually be able to affect the board. So that's something that you really need to understand. Do not always keep a hold of cards based on a value mindset if you can put something on the board which gives you tempo. Tempo is the ability to do something with your card. So just putting out a minion is actually a tempo play, because you put that in play and then you have something that you can do, and that is in essence tempo. So we've already seen stuff like this in the other videos, but I will play a match now, and I will try to focus heavily on the different aspects around tempo that I actually the choices that I do around tempo in that. And I might also want to say, if I have two on a specific mana cost, and one has a value aspect, one has is more or less the same, then I can of course keep the other one in order to realize some potential value later in the game. But if I do have something where I only have one minion and there's some value concepts behind it, I will usually drop that on the board in order to gain tempo. We'll try and play a game. We're getting to cover some of the harder opponents. The opponents I'm facing right now are 3 wins and 0 losses, as well as myself. And those are probably a little bit more than just a regular 50% deck. But we'll see if we can, with some superior playing skills, manage to squeeze out yet another win of this average deck.
Versus Undoing. The light shall bring victory. Let the hunt begin.
Okay. What you see right now is actually where I have the opportunity on turn 1 to coin a 2 and then drop a 2 and drop a 3. So I have a really strong start, and I have the choice to... I actually have a tempo card, something that does something right away when you drop it, like the Henchclan Hogsdeed is a tempo card. You can tempo that one to the board, do something, and then you actually have a little bit of value carried also the next turn with the 1/1 that is left behind. But this is definitely a hand that I'd like to keep, and then on turn 1 I can coin and tempo out a 2-drop. If I were only value focused, then I would say, well, I'm not damaged yet, I need to hold on to the Friendly Bartender. Or I might want to draw a secret for my Mark Shot, which makes my Sunreaver Spy even better. So I actually will like to hold on to that one. Let's not do that. Let's tempo out a card that we can actually use. I will have a higher chance to use the Friendly Bartender later in the game. Therefore, I will want to coin the Spy first, and then I'm already challenging. I'm tempoing out this one to challenge my opponent. He's just dropping that too. I have the opportunity now to get rid of that one already. Priests also have the chance to buff some of their minions. They are, for instance, he could hit in that one and then heal his minion, and then I can't really trade in. So I want to get him off the board as well. So I will actually drop the Hogsdeed and get rid of his stuff, leaving 2 minions that is somewhat strong. He has another one of his own. Doesn't really matter. I can actually remove his minion and then drop another one from myself. What I need to consider now is, what do I get the most tempo out of? This one is a 3 mana 3/3. This one is a 3 mana 3/4. This one can give my other minions a buff, but this one actually affects the board a little bit more because I can do a trade into a 3/3. So I actually, even though this is better later in the game, where on 7 I can drop this one and push my hero power twice, I want to drop this now as a tempo play because the card is stronger than the other one. So I'll do that, get rid of that one, and then I actually make the tempo play here.
Run! I will hold them off.
Okay. I am not too thrilled about pushing in this one. If he makes a playing error and drops a minion before he actually activates his trade, I will be able to finish this one off rather easily. He will probably not do that, but I need to play according to this. So I will not push in my 3/4. It doesn't really do anything, and he can also heal it. So I will just drop 2 minions right now. Like so. And as you can see, I even drop my Friendly Bartender, even though I do not heal my face. But right now, he's actually in quite a good spot right now. even though I have 6 cards, he only has 5. But he's challenging my board really well with that 1 minion. So he's taking the value path, and I'm trying to tempo out some things. But as you can see right now, the one thing that I was expecting that he could end up doing, he actually did. He made a player error, which does cost him maybe even the game. So right now I have the opportunity to drop, what will that be? That will be a 3/8. I think that might actually want to, I probably want to do that because then I can protect my smaller minions. But I do want to get rid of that one. I'll do this. And I'll get rid of that one. The next turn I can have a single card produce 3 out here. So 1 card will actually generate a 6/3 in stats. Then I can get rid of a lot of stuff on my opponent's side while keeping my own board.
Embrace the void.
Okay. That is a pretty good card because now he can actually use his hero power to get rid of my stuff. So I want to get rid of that one for sure. I just want to make sure, what do I want to drop? I think I just want to use the Hunting Mastiff. So I'll do this one, and then we'll drop another 2. Considering that this one trades really well with the 2/3, I don't want to use the rest of my card to get rid of that. Thinking about which cards he can actually introduce on turn 7, I can't off the top of my mind remember anyone which is a board clear. This might be wrong, but we'll see. But considering the cards that he can drop, then I do not see a big challenge here. Looks like it's a potential buff. He actually had a board clear. Then it was an error on my side not to do that. But I think he was, yeah. Maybe I could have anticipated that just a little bit. But I'm still ahead on the board, and I will drop some minions, which you could argue is tempoing out. What I want to consider right now is, do I want to tempo out? That's a tempo play to drop the Fiery Bat. When he already dropped 1 and reserved some mana and didn't really do anything, I actually want to keep that one in order to contest the board a little bit. But I actually need to make sure he cannot have any more minions or any more board clears. If he actually does have that, then I am kind of on my heels.
Ready, sir.
You wish to live forever.
Okay. That is quite okay actually. So I can drop Unleash the Hounds, which gives me something to affect the board with. And then I can also heal in order to get some favorable trades. I think that's actually what I want to do. So and I will actually trade in this 3/3 here, just in case that the Darkscale healer is actually the one that is hit by this one. it was. So that then I can tempo out this one. Do a trade here. And then go face. I'm starting to lose the board now. Okay, he actually has something. Okay. But now I'm actually really behind. I can get rid of this, which I will do. The taunt doesn't really matter anymore. I need to trade in everything. Okay. A Dire Frenzy is actually really good. It allows me to keep my minion and also have a little bit of reach in the deck as well. We'll do this. And I'll get rid of this one. And this one. And then I'll just play out the last thing I do have here. And then I really need to push for face right now. It is probably too late.
I see gold in your future.
Mark shot is really good. And I will affect this one. Because then I can get rid of that one with the 1/1. Or the explosive shot can actually finish off both. So I'll do that. Like so. And then we'll go face. Now I am actually in a position called a top deck, which is really poor because I might just draw my ones, my 1-drops. So that's really in a tough spot to be. Right now I'm really lucky. It's just pure luck that I draw my highest cost minion. This might save me if he doesn't have a way to remove it. Okay. Interesting to see which route he takes. Okay, we'll see what we draw. Okay, so we draw a Hound. That is a lot of face damage. I'm just trying to think if there is any reason for me not to go face. Because if I do a value trade there and there, I'm missing out on 9 face damage, and I think that is actually my win condition right now. It is a slim one. 10, 11, 12. But it is going to be a little awkward for him, but he can trade like... I'll still have a 4-4, 4-2 on the board from what I can see right now at least. And his healing won't do anything. So I will go face. I'm really pushing, but I'm not in a good spot right now. It might look like I'm winning, but I'm actually not. That was the one that I was kind of dreading. He's even healing. Yeah, I'm in a very bad spot right now. This gives me a little bit, but... And if you're in a spot like this, do not give up. Continue playing. You might end up drawing just the card that you need in order to win. And even your opponent might get a disconnect. Who knows? I could maybe draw a hound twice in a row now, and then still win. That's one hound. That's 6 points of damage. Just looking at stats. Next turn I have, if he does not drop a taunt minion, I have a 1 in 15 of actually winning. And that's not a lot, but it's something. And that's really what you want to do. A Stormwind Knight could also do it. Or maybe even Gnomish Advent allows you to have another draw. So a Stormwind Knight is actually what we need. It didn't demonstrate a lot of the tempo plays. I did a little bit in here, saying, well, you need to tempo out some stuff. He's a value-oriented class, and then because I were able to tempo out each and every turn and not concern myself too much with value, this is actually where we ended up. That I could squeeze out a win. Just barely, but we managed to do so. In the coming videos, I think I will also make sure to explain a little bit around tempo. There's a bit more potential for tempo in the deck, but now at least you have the basic concepts around tempo. It is really important to understand what that means and not just focus on value all the time. Value is an aspect in the game that you really have to consider, but many times what actually wins your game is to work with tempo out cards, which allows you to react and affect the board. I hope this helps. Try to implement this in your own playstyle, and I'll see you in the next guide where we'll go through some other aspects of how to play the arena. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you like, but just make sure to make a comment in order for me to have better content going forward. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next guide.